cruising and it's just me in the front seat. She's so sweet, my honey in the summer.
I've read a lot of things about how you guys began, but I think it would still be very much amazing if you guys can walk us through the beginning of Public.
Ben and I have been friends since we were like in kindergarten. When we were like 12, we picked up the guitar kind of around the same time. And I think we kind of really reconnected and bonded through that. Just finding music, you know, and becoming teenagers. And I think when you're teenagers, when you really start to realize how important music is and you realize what you like. And so we connected over that. And when we got into high school, naturally, we joined the jazz orchestra.
Naturally.
That's not a pun. Like a natural note. It's a music joke, guys.
I don't know music.
But we joined the jazz orchestra, and Matt was actually a grade above us, and he was a saxophone player.
She's like, oh, he's older than you.
Oh! Yeah, he was a saxophone player, but one day I kind of walked into the room, and he was playing a bass guitar, and Ben and I had been jamming on guitar and drums at that point for a little bit, like just at his parents' house, just kind of for fun, almost acting like we were in a band, even though we weren't. And yeah, but seeing Matt play on bass, it was like, whoa, he needs to come over and he needs to jam with us, and just see what happens. And really the short of it is that he kind of put that missing piece to, you know, what we needed. Like he actually put a bass line to a song that we had already been writing, like almost immediately. It's like he kind of heard this bass line in his head and he played it. And I remember when he did, it was pretty shocking, I think, for us, because we just hadn't felt anything like that before. And it was like, whoa.
Real chemistry.
Yeah, this is chemistry. This is collaboration, and it's like happening in real time. And we were just like teenagers, and we were like, whoa, what is this?
Your single Make You Mine went global on TikTok. Will you share with us how was the experience for you guys? I mean, from what I've known, it's mostly being a background music to all these romantic gestures. And how do you feel that your song is part of people's most memorable moments, such as proposals?
It is absolutely an honor to have made something that is the soundtrack to people's romantic life. This generation has embraced the song as an anthem for anything romantic or just in general kind of sweet. I don't know if any of us thought that was what was going to happen with the song. I think it's really, really special, and we're so grateful that it ended up being this way. So many people have just found out about us because of that, because the song went viral.
A lot of people, like you said, were introduced to the public with Make You Mine. But if they wanted to know more about the band, what track would you recommend they would listen to next?
I want them to hear our latest single, Honey in the Summer. That to me is something that's really special to me, because it's like a disco song, and that's my favorite genre of music. So just personally, that would be my pick.
I think the heaviest weight off my chest in writing a song came from Honest, a track that we released in 2019, right before Make You Mine blew up. I think that might be my pick, just because previous things that maybe I had written lyrically were a lot more focused on falling in love and is she the one, and I felt like Honest came from a selfish place, that I was scared to share that side of me that's in this aspect of maybe liking someone. I think I kind of came off in kind of a more negative light, and a sad light. For me to write that and let it out in the world, it felt like I could breathe again after that. It was oh, now people know, and now I know that we can write some stuff with a whole different depth than some of the other stuff that we've written before.
And I think it's a wonderful experience that once you get to share it with the public, no pun intended.
How dare you?
I'm sorry. Once you've shared it with everyone out there and they listen to your song, there won't be any judgment. And I think that they would understand you better, the band better.
I think there will always be a level of fear to releasing anything that we have. I think there are just so many facets that people can take away from any song. I think that's the beauty of songs as well, is you can relate it to a certain part of your life that the artist never intended, but you're wow, I can totally see how that can work. But a fan had reached out to me at one point and said how do you get over that fear? And I don't think we ever do. I think we're excited to share that with other people. We're scared to see how they'll receive it, or if they'll see something in it that might be not what we had intended, that maybe is not quite right, maybe. But I think the freedom of music is that people can take what they want from it, and that fear is just human. It's you're sharing a side of you that's not right or wrong, it's just you.
Since you're married, Ben, do you also use Make You Mine as a background song to your romantic life?
Do you, Ben?
He made John and I perform that at his wedding.
Wow! Oh my god, that's
wow.
so cute.
Yeah, it was so cute. I'm so glad they said yes.
We're here for you, buddy.
I'm sure your wife was happy to also have the songs be sang in your wedding, or was she like, okay, since it's
She loves the song. She loves this.
John, so what song would you recommend to a new fan?
A new fan, I would probably play them Make You Mine, and I would say, have you heard this song? They'd probably be like, I think so. And I'd be like, cool.
I know that from TikTok.
Yeah.
That was written by TikTok, right?
Yeah. I feel like it would be weird not to say Honey in the Summer, because that's a new one and it's summertime. And I do actually think that Honey in the Summer might be a good representation of kind of some of the newer stuff that we've been writing. It's a good way to hear kind of maybe where we're going, because it's interesting having a song like Make You Mine blow up. And like, think of any band where you remember when they first had that one song that blew up, and it's sort of like that's your biggest reference of who they are and that's what they sound like. And I think for us, we've had a lot of growth since Make You Mine, and there's a lot of other musical influences. There's a song called Lonely that's off of an EP that came out like 2015, and I guess that would be cool for a newer fan to listen to, because just kind of like Matt was saying, like that was something that I wrote. It was pretty much right after I broke up with somebody and I was feeling like just so depressed about it. I don't know, I haven't really written a song exactly like that, or I would say rather Public hasn't released a song like that since that song really. So I think that's kind of a unique track.
Talking about Honey in the Summer, I really love the song, by the way. It's got me dancing in my bedroom. So it's a really happy song. And can you share with us the inspiration behind it? How did you come about with the song?
I remember Ben was messing around with this chord progression, because he was getting into disco music so much. And there's a lot of disco chord progressions that get repeated in disco music. It's like, kind of like there's nothing new under the sun. Everything's been done. But he played that progression in Honey in the Summer, which basically plays through the entire song. I was like, dang, what is that? And he was like, it's one of the disco chord progressions. And I was like, well, heck, man, like, let's go. It was a time when we were single too, and it was kind of about like, what do you do when you're single on the weekend and it's the summer and everybody else is out there with their boyfriend and their girlfriend? It's like you get in your car and you drive and you listen to the music that makes you feel good, and you have those awesome evening drives when the sun is setting, and it's a good time, it's a good vibe. And so yeah, really the song kind of started from Ben just laying down that really tasty chord progression. I remember as he was doing that, I was pacing around my apartment, like trying to think of what would Bruno Mars say here. That sounds really cool. And I actually think that's the only reason that Honey in the Summer, that phrase, didn't feel too cool for me to actually sing. It's because I was like, no, that's cool. Like, I don't really know what that means, but Honey in the Summer, baby, like, yeah. And then it was just like, oh, I guess it's about the car.
The car is your really sticky snack when it's hot.
That's right.
Apparently. That's exactly what that is.
Would you be so kind to, relay a message to all of your Filipino fans out there?
We love you guys. We really, really wish that we could actually come see you in person. That is our next order of business after all of this regulates and normalizes, and we are so, so grateful for all the support on our music. We
Absolutely.
really do love you guys. So thank you.
Thank
Never
you.
did we imagine that we would be heard in the Philippines. Like, I think, music has always been the goal, and to have you guys resonating with our tracks like this is beyond anything I had ever thought of. So thank you so much.
Crazy.